And whatever the intramural debates are that happen on the right and the narcissism of small differences and things like that, it goes out the window when we start getting shot by BLM transgender communists. And whether Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger or not, that exists. That exists because they celebrated it. So people say, well, maybe Tyler Robinson is the patsy. Maybe that's the case. But you still have transgenders shooting up Catholic churches and schools. You still have Antifa. You still have BLM. And you still had tens of thousands of people celebrating and mocking Charlie Kirk when he died because they thought he's a Nazi. So that's real. And that is how we would define our tribe and then engage in politics. Shapiro is not the same way. Shapiro is Jewish. And insofar as the Jewish religion, the Orthodox Jewish religion is traditional in some sense, maybe has some commonality. But Shapiro doesn't care if America gets diverse. He said it himself. He says, I don't give a damn about the browning of America. He said, if white people are complaining that there's no jobs, it's because you're a loser. He said, you're not promised anything. You're entitled to nothing, goy. He says, the only thing you're promised, this is a quote, is the adventure of a lifetime. So I don't care if your ancestors have been buried in the same cemetery for 6 generations. You need to uproot and move to an oil field in North Dakota. You need to uproot and go work and do fracking somewhere else. And if you have a problem with that, well, you're just a loser, ingrate white person who needs to be replaced by better, more American Indians and Chinese that actually want to work hard. Like, that's Shapiro's ideology. Shapiro's not a Christian. Shapiro doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. This guy's not on our side. And insofar as Shapiro's in favor of Israel's domination of America, he sets himself against the American sovereignty, America first, American independence movement, and feels threatened by it. So Shapiro said, yeah, Matt Walsh might be getting shot at by leftists. I'm getting shot at by everybody because I support Israel. And doesn't that say it all? Does that not say it all? Walsh lives in Tennessee, where the Daily Wire headquarters is. You know where Shapiro lives? Do you think he lives in Tennessee, where all the Daily Wire studios are, with Walsh and Knowles and where Candace Owens used to live? No. Ben Shapiro lives in Boca Raton in South Florida because that's where all the Jews are. Isn't that weird? Don't you think that's a... And by the way, when this debate happened, Shapiro wasn't even there. He was in Israel.
Bro, first of all, I have to say this. I can't confirm everything Nick just said, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is all true. But my opinion about Ben Shapiro is this guy is controlled opposition. Like, he is controlled opposition 100% if you ask me. Like, he is acting like this conservative, right-wing guy. He's playing this character. But if he would really have to choose, like, between Israel and America, we all know where he would choose for. And he is not, like, about, like, making America great again. He doesn't want, like, America, the United States, to succeed. I feel like this guy literally would love to see this whole country getting destroyed. And again, this is just my opinion, but I don't trust Ben Shapiro at all. Every time when I look at him, I don't trust one word he said. He's like acting like this weird-ass guy who is acting like he is pro-America. Meanwhile, he is like destroying it. Like he's just cosplaying a right-winger. Meanwhile, he's almost like, you probably get the point what I mean. But this guy you should really be careful for like the Ben Shapiros in our country, because they act like they are America first. They act like they want to make our country great again, but they aren't. They wouldn't, and they would love to see the United States be destroyed. And this is just my opinion. I hope you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but Ben Shapiro is controlled opposition if you ask me.
So over here in America, in Tennessee, in Wisconsin, in Utah, white Americans are getting shot at by communists. And communists are celebrating. These left-wing trash are celebrating because they think if you want America to be white and proud and Christian, you're a Nazi. And they're shooting at us. While this is going down, Shapiro's in Israel, flying on private jets with security that probably costs millions of dollars a year to protect him, because we all know he supports Israel over the United States. Is this clocking to Matt Walsh? Is it clicking when he's in the Zoom call getting berated and lectured by Shapiro? And here's really what it comes down to. Let's just say it this way. Shapiro is right in the sense that this group chat does reflect the radicalization of the youth. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because the political correctness, the narrative control surrounding Hitler, which was created and propped up by the ADL and SPLC, the HR sensitivity training, the anti-racist stuff, all of that is a mind virus to make white people guilty and surrender our country. I'm not a hateful, cruel person. I don't want a genocide. But America is supposed to mean something. When we think of what an American is, we're supposed to think of something particular and definite and discrete. And by discrete, I mean tangible and whole. And so if young white men don't care about those speech codes, if they're embracing American identity, if they're becoming radically right-wing and they don't care about the thought policing and the white guilt and the victim narratives of the left, that's a good thing. And if they do not treat those sacred cows of the left with the kind of sanctity that they're expected to, that's a good thing. It's good that the youth is getting radicalized. It's good that they're irreverent. It's good that they're extremely traditionally Christian. It's good that they're pro-white. It's good that they're nativistic and patriarchal.
I mean, you should also ask yourself, why do these people think like this? Because always I'm getting so tired of these people who are like surprised or like that people think like this. You can also ask yourself, why do people radicalize more? Why do people want less immigration, for example? Why do people want less wokeism and all this BS, in my opinion? Because people are getting tired and sick of it. So I am getting tired of people who are like surprised that some younger people, they are radicalizing more. They are getting more extreme. Of course, you should ask yourself why. Look what happens to these people. Like, come on, like it's insane. Sometimes if I walk outside now in the United States, I even have to pinch myself to see if I'm actually living in like a real world. It's such a weird state of our country, of like the whole Western world nowadays. Like, I am not surprised that people want to have like a more traditional life. Like, just compare the United States 50 years ago with today. Would you rather live in the United States from 50 years ago, like post-war? Of course, like not in the 1945, it would be horrible, but you get the point. Would you live in America's 1960s or in America 2025? I would even pay all the money I have now to go back to the 1950s, the 1960s, and I believe it would be would have a way better life than just living now. We live in such a weird world, so I'm not even surprised that all these people get more extreme. They should ask themselves why.
That's a good thing. And Matt Walsh knows that, and J.D. Vance knows that, and you know that, and I know that. Because these radical young white youth are going to grow up and they're going to fight for America. They're going to fight against all this feminist, liberal, diversity bullshit. But that comes with something else too, because if you're Christian, you're not Jewish. If you're America first, you're not Israel first. If you're America first, you're against all their wars, their foreign aid. If you believe America has an identity, guess what America's identity is not? Ethnically or religiously Jewish. It's racially white, it's religiously Christian. And so the more radical that the young white men become, the more their conception of American identity hardens. It forces the contradiction to the fore, which is that the more American you get, the less you can really tolerate this Judeo-Christian myth. The less you could tolerate this melting pot myth, the less you could tolerate this pro-Israel lobby, the less you could tolerate Jewish billionaires like Larry and David Ellison that are buying the media to make us support another country. That comes with it too. It's unavoidable and it's inextricably connected. It's part of that. And obviously Shapiro sees this as a bad thing. Because Shapiro, as long as he's a pro-Israel Jew, has to be kind of a liberal. If America is for everybody, then it could be for him too. If America is a colorblind meritocracy and anyone can set up shop and become super powerful, then so can he. But if America is prioritizing our heritage, our people, our identity, our independence, well, then he is lumped in with the other outsiders. He doesn't like that. And so, that's really the dividing line, is that, yes, it is true. The conversation's changing. The youth are waking up. That's good. And by the way, when I say people should not be afraid by radicalization, what's radical is what's happening now. What's radical is you have Austin Metcalf getting stabbed in the neck with a knife and black people raise $500,000 for his killer. That's radical. It's radical that Charlie Kirk is shot in the neck and one of the big late night shows blames it on his own side and just lies about it completely recklessly. Like it's radical to bring in 10 million illegal aliens and say anyone can be American, but it's not our country. It was never our country. Like reparations, that's radical. That's bullshit.
Spot on. And me as a legal migrant, I completely agree with Nick. Completely agree with Nick. And also, I want to mention this. This is very true. Why is it always extremism and radicalizing on the right-wing side? Exactly, then you can see it everywhere in the news. This group chat, this conservative group chat got leaked, extremism, blah, 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 all this BS. But on the left-wing side, when they're destroying memorials of Charlie Kirk, when they're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you barely see anything on the news. You barely hear people talking about it. There were thousands of people making TikToks, even selling merchandise after what happened with Charlie Kirk. And no one is talking about that. Why do we always have this double standard on the right-wing side? That if something happens on the right-wing side, it's extremism, it's super dangerous, it's like the people are radicalizing. But on the left-wing side, it's maybe even worse. You have the same people who are maybe even more violent. Just look what happened to Charlie Kirk. Look what happened almost to Donald Trump. Like, I'm getting so tired of this double standard that if something happens on the right-wing side, it's like, the people all should read about it. They put it on a headliner in every news and every newspaper. And they always like silently try to dig up like the left-wing extremism. Well, that's even more dangerous these days. Just look what happened with Charlie Kirk. Anyways, as well, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but if you feel like I say something what's wrong, I'm not a hypocrite, feel free to debate me. But this is just my opinion. But I'm getting so tired of this double standard in the United States. It's getting so insane. If you are super woke, you're good. But if you are super America first, you are like pro-America, you are like almost like, I want America to be for the Americans, then there's something wrong with you. And if you're a wokey who says everyone can come into my country, then you're great. What happened, man?
So we need a hard, far, edgy, radical right wing that says, this has all gone too far. It's time to shut all this stuff down. Not in a sick, cruel, sicko way, but it's time to restore America, make America great again. And Shapiro will never be comfortable with what is required to do that. So I saw Matt Walsh receiving the lecture and looked visibly uncomfortable. Like I said, blinking like 1,000 times. You could read it on his face how uncomfortable he is. And you got to wonder, bro, what is going through your head when you hear this stuff? You know this is nonsense. When Shapiro, think about it. Think about where we're at. Charlie Kirk got shot in the face for being a Nazi. And Shapiro, your boss, is concern trolling about a group chat. Whose side is he on? People are getting stabbed and shot and we're on the verge of a civil war. And Shapiro is saying, well, hold on now. Who says we can't cancel these young kids for making racist jokes in a group chat? Hey, man, read the room. You. They should have their lives ruined. So what are you thinking, Walsh? Whose side are you on? Your fellow Catholics, your fellow whites, your fellow Americans? Are you on the side of your boss, who's in Israel right now for the signing of this peace deal? Whose side are you on? And I say this about Shapiro. The reason why I think this is like a breaking point is they just have no give. This would have been an opportunity, by the way, for Shapiro to actually engender some goodwill among people that would be skeptical. Think about what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that there's no accommodation for anyone that's Jewish or pro-Israel. I recognize there's a lot of Jews in the country, and on some level, you know, they're not going anywhere, okay? So we're not looking to eliminate them or anything like that. And it's, if Shapiro was even thinking strategically for his own benefit, this would have been the opportunity to actually create some goodwill. How? These young kids, they're making jokes. They're young Republicans. You think they hate jokes? They're making jokes. This would be an opportunity for Shapiro to say, you know what? They're just kids. They're making jokes. And I think a lot of people might have said, this would be for Shapiro's benefit. A lot of people would have said, you know, I don't like Shapiro, but good on him for defending these people. Good on him for being consistent and not clutching his pearls. And good on him for reading that actually would have been the more tactful play. But it's like I've been saying, these people, it's not in their vocabulary. They have no charity, no give, no good faith, no goodwill, not an ounce. It's not there. And so we're obviously in the situation where the under 25 crowd, like they're over Israel and they're over being told what to do and what's okay by the Jews. And the Jews recognize they got a problem. And instead of the humility, which would be required to say, we need to win these people back. We need to understand where they're coming from and meet them where they are. We want to earn their affection back. I don't know, how about by understanding them? How about by being charitable towards them? Building rapport? They hate us too much. So Shapiro, with his giant eyebrows and his evil visage, his goblin-like visage, is going to get on the show and say, who's to say we can't cancel? Yeah, they didn't even apologize for what they said. Oy vey, they didn't even apologize for other Holocaust jokes. And we're already forgiving them? Not so fast. If someone's going to kill me, it's going to be one of these right-wing guys. They're not capable of letting it go.
And this just shows you why people like Ben Shapiro, they are kind of dangerous for our country. Like, for real, like, this Ben Shapiro guy, like, he is just controlled opposition. Like, I feel like when these people really get, like, the power, they will completely destroy the United States. Like, even if I agree what Nick just said. Not everything, of course. You also have to do your own research, you have to think yourself as well. Like, don't believe everything Nick says, but it is so weird. Like, how can Ben Shapiro be so powerful if he is almost like he is literally sitting in Israel and he's telling us in the United States what we should do, how we should react to things? Dude, you're not even in the United States when he is like talking about it. So who the F are you to say to us what we should do? Bro, first come to the United States maybe, instead of like sitting in Israel with like a video call telling us how we should act. Get the F out of here, man. But I feel like this guy, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably people will agree with me, people will disagree with me, that's all fine. But this Ben Shapiro guy is just cosplaying. He is America first, he is a right-winger conservative guy. This guy isn't. I think he's like liberal AF, and like I wouldn't be surprised if he's like voting best friends with Kamala Harris or something. Like, of course, that's obviously a joke, but you get the point. Like, these people we should be careful with people like Ben Shapiro.
And now I'm sure Matt Walsh is thinking, what are you talking about? What are you doing? They just keep doubling down, summoning Shapiro, Levin, Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer, these psycho freaks. And don't for one second kid yourself and think that we are the haters. They are the haters. They are the racists. They are the intolerant ones. They are the control freaks that want to tell us what we could say and who we can vote for and how much money we can give to Israel every year. Look at them. They're evil. Look at Josh Hammer. Tell me that's not a sick human being. Mark Levin, one of the most nasty, negative, vile human beings you'll ever see, and no self-awareness. And in an era where people are falling out of love with they deploy these people who are going to be the berserkers and bully us back into loving the by getting on Twitter and motherfucker Tucker Carlson every day. Tucker Carlson's an anti-Semite. He's working for Qatar. You think you're winning anybody? You think you're getting anybody back on the plantation with that? You're losing them.
All right, I'm very curious. I'm speechless, like what Nick, everything he just said. But I'm very curious about your opinion. Seriously, do you agree with Nick on this one? Do you disagree? Please share your opinion in the comments. I'm very curious, and I want to say I read all comments. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you really like this video, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And as well, there is like a new hype button. So if you want more people to see this video, please smash the hype button. It would really help me to spread this video to more people, and I would really appreciate it. Last but not least, guys, I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.